the last session of Unit 5. Session 6. Corporate Ethics and Diversity in Organizations. At the end of this session, you should be able to understand the relationship between ethics and diversity, understand the importance of promoting diversity to achieve ethical workplace. Ethics, diversity and inclusiveness. Diversity lets us connect to our customers, to our workforce, to surround ourselves with the best talent in all categories of the population and to be more agile. So what we mean by diversity is we are all from different backgrounds, different cultural backgrounds, ethnic backgrounds, religion, nationality, whatnot. However, when all these people come together to achieve a common goal, then we say there's a diversified working environment. So here, it helps us to connect all our customers, our workforce, and surround ourselves with the best talent in all categories. That's where you should stress all categories of the population. That's when we say there's diversity, because when you go, you meet someone from country A, ethnic B, country C, ethnic D. All these things are what we call diversity in the organization. Inclusiveness. This is where diversity in all its forms and at all levels of the organization is involved in whatever decision that the organization makes. So you include everybody. You don't discriminate against somebody because of acceptable criteria for discrimination. However, you include everybody in the diversified communication. Duty, diversity and ethics. Diversity and inclusion in an organization is speaking out on values, culture, and ethics. Thus, in recruitment, it is important that you include a diversified, you employ people from diversified backgrounds and include them in your decision making. So, diversification is only possible at the stage of recruitment, where you don't look at the background of people, their ethical backgrounds, their culture. You just employ people based on their talents. So when they come, you realize that people from different backgrounds, culture, with values and ethics have been involved in the organizational objectives and long-term goal. Employees' contribution towards promoting diversity include developing a hiring strategy to make your workforce resemble the community you operate in. Remember, as I was saying, diversity is only possible at the recruitment section. So when you employ people from different backgrounds with culture, value, and ethics, it helps you to develop a hiring strategy that makes your workforce resemble the community that you operate in. People from different backgrounds are going to work in the organization. So it will be like your own community who you work with. Ask existing employees for referrals. So where need be, you can ask your employees for referrals to probably people with a particular culture or value so that you can recruit them into your organization. Talk to community organizations to help find candidates for your work. So when you want to hire some people or you want to create your own community based on some culture and values, you can talk to the community organizations to also help you recruit some people. Provide diversity training in your workplace. After you've employed people, it is important for you to let them know they are one people. They are working towards a particular goal. So irrespective of their background, culture, value, ethics, they should work towards a common goal. Thus, you have to treat them and train them as one people so that they respect and show individual differences. They don't show themselves as mightier than the other. Levels of diversity. Surface level diversity. Here we use your demographics to define the diversity that we are talking about, be it your age, your race, nationality, sexual orientation, marital status. That is what we use to define the diversity in the organization. Next, we have the deep level diversity. Here, the personality of the people in the organization forms the diversified environment. So here we look at your values and your work preferences. That is what is termed as the deep level diversity. At the level of personality, what are the kind of people that we have as per their work preferences and their values. Then we have diversity management. After identifying that you have a diversified work environment, how do you manage it to suit the organizational goals or not? Let's look at 8 ways to improve diversity in the workplace. Measure it. It is important for you to know at least the proportion of out of 100%, the whole organization. How many are from ethnic A, national A, nation B? It is very important. So you need to measure it so that you know when you're making policies, you know how to strategize and allow it to be accepted in the organization. Remember also that diversity is about more than race. Diversity is about more. It's not just limited to race. There is more to it: values, ethics, culture. Recruit over a broader geographical area. So when you want to recruit, don't limit it to people in your community. Let the recruitment be public so that people from different areas can also come and apply. Focus on retention. Your focus after recruiting and selecting people shouldn't be your need to work with people from a particular ethnic group or a particular diversification criteria, but you should focus on retaining the most appropriate people for your organization. Pay attention to organizational culture. It is very important. As you are fusing people, you have to know who or what your organizational culture is and who you are bringing into so that they don't infiltrate your culture and you have to now go and recruit a new set of people. Consider providing diversity training. Training at every stage is important. So if you have new people from different backgrounds, train them accordingly. Don't forget to foster diversity at all levels and not just in hiring. It is important. Diversification doesn't end at hiring. After you've employed them, how do you include them in decision making? Biographical characteristics. Biographical characteristics represent many of the surface level aspects of diversity and are characteristics that are very easy to identify. Objective and personal characteristics such as age, gender, race and ethnicity, tenure, religion, sexual orientation, gender identity are some of the biographical characteristics that people forms the diversity in an organization. Discrimination. Effective diversity management is necessary for eliminating unfair discrimination in an organization. What is discrimination? Discrimination means treating people differently based on acceptable behavior. So, if an organization is practicing effective diversity management, then it is necessary for them to prevent or eliminate unfair discrimination in an organization. Sometimes we are using unfair because sometimes discrimination is fair based on some categories. So the organization would present its job criteria or job description as we want only tall people. That means short people have been discriminated against. We want people who can type. That means those that cannot type have been discriminated against. So sometimes discrimination is fair, but in this context, we are saying unfair discrimination. Types of discrimination include discrimination policies or practices. Practices or policies that is unfair to people, that makes them feel like they are being treated differently from others. Sexual harassment is discrimination. Intimidation is a type of discrimination. Mockery and insults. Exclusion. You don't involve the diversified people in decision making. Incivility. You are being incivil to others in the organization. Intellectual abilities of biographical characteristics include structures and measures of intelligence that is generalized across cultures. So you need to assess the intellectual abilities of your diversified working environment to know how to effectively use people from diversified backgrounds. Diversity management is important across the globe to help avoid issues of discrimination. However, different cultures will use different frameworks for handling diversity. So, irrespective of where you find yourself, though the environment may be a diversified environment, you should know that the organization has its own culture. So, it will use the culture or the policies to determine how to deal with diversity in the organization. Welcome to the last session of Unit 5. We have learned about ethics, diversity and inclusiveness, duty, diversity and ethics. See you in the last unit of Principles and Corporate Governance of Ethics.